Hello and welcome to this particular video on how to develop a regression model to forecast using the cloud-based XLMiner platform. In the previous video that was created to show you how to partition dataset using the cloud-based XLMiner, we have used the example of the Amtrak file, and as you can see, you have the Amtrak has two variables, month and ridership, and we use that to partition to demonstrate partitioning. We are going to use the same file for demonstrating how to run a regression model. Unfortunately, unlike Excel, we are unable to create variables like time index or the dummy variables to capture seasonality directly on the particular platform. Now we can do that. We can obviously write here t and then write 1, give a value of 1, then 2, and so on and so forth. But there is no way we can drag and then fill the other values as we could have done in Excel. So similarly, we cannot just write, create the first 12, the first 12 dummies, and then create the values and copy paste the values in the other cells. In other words, what I'm trying to say is typical functions in Excel does not work on the XLMiner platform at this time. So the best way to overcome this challenge is to directly work on your Excel file. So create all the variables you need. Okay, think about the models you're going to run and create all the variables you need before you upload the file and partition the dataset. So in this particular example for Amtrak, I'm going to demonstrate you a linear trend model with seasonality. For that exercise, I just need the time index t and the 12 dummy values, right? We don't need t square or log of ridership as we are not running a quadratic model or an exponential model. If we plan to do those things, I will then create those variables first before I upload the file on the cloud. Okay, so please make sure that you create this in an Excel, save it in a different file name. Please do not save on the same file name. Okay, save in a different file name. Make sure that the format is XLSX, and I will say passenger to XLSX file. Okay, and it is saved obviously on a particular desktop in my case. So once again, I will go back to my Analytics Solver web browser. Please remember to use either a Chrome or a Firefox to run the XLMiner platform. Do not use a Safari or any other browser. Okay. So the first thing I will do is I will upload the file. The file I just created with the time index and the different dummies to capture seasonality. To do that, I will click on Solver and then I will say Open and I will say from other sources. Once again, this tab from analyticssolver.com includes all the files you may have on your platform account. Okay, so we were going to just upload a file from my computer. So I'm going to click on From Other Sources, and then this is my desktop. I will just select my passenger 2, the file I just created, and I will say open. And as you can see, it has obviously created, uploaded all the rows. I have 160 rows, and then all the other things, such as the time index t and the 12 dummy values for our analysis. So the first thing we will do is obviously partitioning our data set as we normally do. So to do that, I will click on data mining, and within data mining I will select partitioning. Okay, and then we will make sure that we select the proper time variable, and the rest goes to the variables in the partition data set. Our month is our time variable, so I will make sure I select that, and rest goes to the variables in the partition. I can obviously click on the top one, hold my shift button, and then select all the other variables. If you do not see the names of the variables as you see here, but only see var1, var2, var3, something like that, I would suggest you to look at the data range and see whether you are really selecting variables from A1 to O160 in this particular file. If in other words, if you have if your data range includes a cell which has no information, you might not be able to see the variable names, so keep in mind. Okay, anyway, so I will select specify number of records here, then I'll select once again specify number of records on the left hand side. Our training size is 147, validation set is 12, and then we click OK. Just make sure that see, as you can see on the right hand side, it's still running the analysis. Now depends upon your speed of your internet, it might take some time. As you can see, it says now data mining operation completed, and you can also see this new tab says TS partition. TS stands for time series partition. So now you have file is ready for running different models. So in this particular video, I will show you how to run a regression. Okay, other videos will demonstrate other methods. So to run a regression, we will select predict, which is under data mining, and we will select linear regression. If you have used a standalone XLMiner on a PC, you would have seen multiple linear regression as the option. Okay. In our case, since we're using the cloud-based platform, select the linear regression option. So the first thing we'll do is we will select our dependent variable, the variable we want to predict or forecast, which is ridership. So we will select ridership and we'll put under output variable. Okay. And now once again, as I told you, sometimes it's sensitive, so make sure you're selecting and dragging them in the right place. Then the variable, the model we're going to run is once again a linear regression model with a linear trend and with seasonality. So with a linear trend, we just need time index as our independent variable, which is falls under selected variable tab, and we are going to select any 11-month dummies. Since in the class we dropped April, I will do the same thing. I will select January to March, and then from May to December. Okay. Now we have already talked why we have to use 11 of the 12 dummies, but if you have forgotten, the answer is in situations where the dummies represents seasonality and time, knowing information for any 11 dummy values automatically gives you the information for the 12th dummy value variable. In other words, if I know that all the month dummies are zeros, right, which are all of the month values except April are 0, April has to be 1, right? So that's why we use only 11 of the 12 dummy values in this particular case. Then I'll select next. Okay. Inside next, you don't have to select a whole lot of things. Just make sure that it's saying fit intercepts. They're going to provide you in information. They might give you some analysis of residuals. So select that. Okay. And that's about it. And then we'll select next. And then we will say detailed reports. Now, one thing you saw here is that the score validation data is grayed out. Okay, what it means is in the first spreadsheet, first window, I did not select the partition file, and as you can see, it says worksheet is 1, data sheet 1. So, for since we are going to demonstrate this in the partition data set, so please make sure that you select the partition worksheet for your analysis. Okay, and as you can see, I selected data partition worksheet. Then I will select ridership as my output. Then time index as my selected variable, which is your in, independent variables, and then January to March, and then May to December as my 11 dummy values. And then I'm going to select next, select residuals, analysis of residuals, and then next once again. And now you can see that the validation data is also now, you can actually select, it's not grayed out. Okay, we select this and that's it, and click finish. And you will get an output as you have seen in the class. Currently it's still running, looks like it's done. Now once again, please make a note that as you're running things, depends upon your computer speed, it might slow it down. Okay, anyway, so as you can see an output, linear regression output, and the output will tell you, typically gives you a regression table. It gives you, the coefficients, and the estimates and so. Okay, there is residual influence. It is your training score, and all the other things you need. Okay, all the information you need are here. Okay. Now, keep in mind one more thing. Now, in some of your assignment questions, you may be asked to plot values and so. Let's say you want to plot these validation stuff. You cannot directly plot using XLMiner. Okay. So what I would suggest is after you run your analysis, go to solver home and you say save. Okay. And you say save to other sources. In other words, save this file in your computer. Like when I did that, as you can see, Amtrak passenger downloaded here. And I'll open the file and I will run the plot. I'll do all the plots I need in Excel. Okay, so keep in mind, you cannot run the plots on the platform. After you're done with the analysis, please download the file in your computer, open in Excel, and then obviously run Excel to plot those things. Now, when you download these things, you will see this particular message. Okay, it says that we found a problem with the content in Amtrak 2. Do you want us to try to recover as much as you can? If you can trust this workbook, click yes. And I would suggest that you click yes. Okay, it's perfectly fine. And there may be some micro issues that comes up, and that's why you're getting this message. Select enable editing, and then obviously you can use the way you have done in the class. When we did that, once again this particular window might pop up, says repairs to Amtrak. You just say close and you're perfectly fine, nothing is wrong. And then obviously you can select the prediction values from here. Okay, and then you can take this these values. Maybe you can save it after your after let's see, residuals, right? So after this particular tab, on the right hand side. Okay, so this is your predicted values. You can then select those two rows, two columns, okay, and then you can plot your values, okay, and plot your data set as asked by the particular question, okay. So I can just select these two. I can change the name, okay. One is prediction and one is your original values. I can say insert and I plot my data. Okay. So once again, the plotting cannot be done directly from the cloud based. Run all the analysis you need to run, and then download the file in your computer, and then use your Excel in your computer to plot all the variables you need. So once again, when you're doing it for your assignment, and make a note of things you need to do. Otherwise, you'll be doing this multiple times. I mean, obviously, it's a kind of a nuisance when you're doing multiple things, but that's the unfortunate weakness we have at this point in time from XLMiner. Anyway, once again, this video was to kind of demonstrate how you can run a regression model on XLMiner platform and a cloud based. The biggest key important point here is we can but unfortunately it's a tedious job to create all the variables in on the platform. So please make sure that you created the file in a computer. Make changes you need to do it, save it as XLSX file, and then upload that file on your platform. Okay, please try not to, you can, but try not to make changes to the file on the platform. I rather you do this in the computer and then upload the file using the solver home. Okay, and then the process is very similar to what we have done in the class or the other lecture videos I have. Okay, there's some terminologies are different, but they're very similar. Okay, they're very similar, and you should not have any trouble understanding what analysis to do.